Protect our nation from being sold. Join the call now.
Tonight, on First at 9, this Monday, the 16th of September 2024. The presidential standoff. Tensions heighten among presidential candidates as the presidential election draws closer. Checkered support. Lanka Tamil Arasukachi continues to endorse opposition leader Sajith Premadasa for president. ITAK parliamentarian S. Sridharan, however, disagrees with the party decision. Misinformation. The Sri Lankan embassy in Tel Aviv is Sri Lanka's only official diplomatic mission in the state of Israel, emphasizes the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Adds that claims of other consulates being established are unfounded and should be disregarded. Settling dues. Sri Lanka has repaid over $5 billion to its multilateral creditors in 2022 and 2023, claims the Ministry of Finance.
ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දෙනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to Derana First at 9. I'm Sajith Premadasa joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. Now taking you straight to your top story this evening, the main political party of the Tamil National Alliance, the Lanka Tamil Arasukachi, announced its decision to continue its endorsement of opposition leader Sajith Premadasa for president. However, ITAK MP S. Sridharan, who opposed the party's decision previously too, declared his support for the Tamil common candidate, former ITAK MP P. Arinethiran. S. Sridharan's decision comes off the back of a public declaration of support by ITAK's Kilinochchi branch to P. Arinethiran, contrary to the party's decision.
On the 1st of this month, Lanka Tamil Arasukachi spokesperson, MP, President's Council, M.S. Sumandiran stated that the party's Central Committee decided to endorse opposition leader Sajith Premadasa for president. However, on the 9th of September, representatives of ITAK's Kilinochchi branch, during a special meeting, unanimously decided to extend their support to the Tamil common candidate, former ITAK parliamentarian P. Arinethiran, contrary to the party's decision to back opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. Against such a backdrop, ITAK's Central Committee convened today in Vaunia to reach a final decision on which candidate the party would support ahead of the presidential election. During the meeting, the majority of the committee decided to continue the party's endorsement of opposition leader Sajith Premadasa.
We discussed at length obtaining political solutions to the issues faced by the Tamil community, complete devolution of powers to provincial councils pursuant to the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, obtaining a method of self-governance for the Northern Province, and matters presented by the Oslo Convention in 2002. Based on the productivity of those meetings and the positivity which our requests were entertained, we decided to support Sajith Premadasa in the upcoming presidential election.
Meanwhile, ITAK parliamentarian S. Sridharan expressed his disagreement with the party's decision.
I am opposed to the party's proposal. The reason for my opposition is that Sinhalese candidates have not paid sufficient attention in their manifestos to the issues faced by the Tamil community. Therefore, I request support for Tamil common candidate P. Arinethiran.
Horizon Campus 2024 Intake 2. Register now.
කවුද ඔයා මෙච්චර ලස්සන්ට වෙනස් කළේ?
වෙනස් මනුස්සෙක්.
Dilith වෙනස් මනුස්සෙක්. රටක් වෙනස් කරන්නට තරුවෙන්.
Presidential candidate of the Samagi Jana Balawege-led Samagi Jana Sandhane, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa asserts that he will focus on community-centric wildlife conservation with its benefits directed towards developing the tourism sector. Meanwhile, he also went on to say that an SJB-led government will establish a presidential task force for development in each district island-wide allowing the general public to directly contact the president and voice their concerns.
A rally in support of presidential candidate of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya led Samagi Jana Sandhanaya, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, was held in Anuradhapura this morning.
Anura Kumara recently visited Anuradhapura and invoked blessings from several sacred Buddhist sites. However, did they take a single photograph? They say that they intend to establish a materialist atheist state. They also say that they will remove religion from the school curriculum. If Anura comes to power, Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity and Islam will no longer be taught in schools. Sunday schools will not function. I urge those closest to Anura to not let those with blood on their hands claim power. Will we let the Red Mafia destroy the Buddhist order?
I vow to shoulder the responsibility of the people living in the Anuradhapura district. Place your trust in me. Give me your strength. I will protect all of you, regardless of your faith, race or caste. However, I must say one thing. The people of this country have already decided to usher in an era of the common people. We will implement a national land use plan in a bid to provide a sustainable solution to the elephant-human conflict. As an environmentalist, I have ideas for the successful implementation of electric fences. We will develop the tourism industry by focusing on community-centric wildlife conservation.
Another rally in support of presidential candidate of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya led Samagi Jana Sandhanaya, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, was held in Matale this afternoon.
We will set up presidential task forces for development in each district. We will establish a presidential task force for development in the Matale district, which will enable people of all divisional secretariat divisions within the 4 electorates here to directly contact the president. I urge those who intend to support the JVP and the UNP to not waste their votes. I request all of you to join our journey of national development, regardless of your party affiliations.
Leader and presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anura Kumara pledges to transform the nation's existing political culture into one centered on public service once the NPP seizes power. Addressing a rally, Disanayake disagreed with the popular criticisms levelled against the NPP and asserted that the NPP is committed to providing the people with uninterrupted fuel, gas and electricity.
An election rally pledging support to leader and presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anura Kumara Disanayake, was held in Akurasa this evening.
MP
Dala Salahapperuma recently said that Sajith Premadasa has a plan to develop the nation. The political culture which persisted in the country rested on intimidating those who lost the election. In the past, people used to set houses ablaze. They even attacked supporters of other political parties. Some were even gunned down. That was their revenge. That culture will change after the presidential elections on the 21st of September. During this election, political beliefs and perspectives shouldn't cause pain or hurt to anyone. We will completely remove the VAT imposed on food items, school supplies and healthcare facilities. The NPP will implement a plan to reduce the electricity tariffs within a short time period. Families in poverty will receive an allowance of 10,000 rupees, with the poorest receiving 17,500 rupees. Other presidents take office to share positions of power. However, we will not be attached to any and all such positions. Not only that, but we also aim to transform the country's politics into a public service. Some claim that a fuel shortage will arise once we come into power. Some even claim that gas shortages will arise if President Wickremesinghe fails to assume power. The NPP is committed to provide the people with uninterrupted fuel, gas and electricity.
Meanwhile, another public rally in support of the leader and presidential candidate of the NPP, Anura Kumara Disanayake, was held in Navalapitiya last evening.
On the 22nd of this month, Anura Kumara will swear in as the President of Sri Lanka. What will be his first task once he assumes power? Police officers will be provided the freedom to apprehend those involved in theft and fraud who previously remained unaccountable due to political interference. The police will have the autonomy to apprehend any corrupt politician engaged in fraud and theft. Our primary task is to dissolve the parliament and send those corrupt politicians home.
Sri Lanka has an inappropriate political culture at the moment. The existing political culture should be altered for the country to progress. An NPP government will get rid of this political culture. Any politician who crosses over would lose their ministerial portfolio under our government. The parliamentary elections will be held 1.5 months after dissolving the parliament. Ranil Wickremesinghe will be defeated in the presidential poll. Sajith Premadasa can continue his duties as the country's opposition leader. Following the general election, the parliament will comprise only 150 members. The vehicle permits granted to ministers would be revoked. Similarly, the government will not provide housing facilities for ministers. Additionally, the bills of ministers would not be settled by the government. These entitlements of the president will also be cancelled under an NPP government. The government will not financially assist the former presidents. It is also imperative that the current economic policies be modified. This economic policy is flawed. Run the nation. The country does not adequately protect women and children. It's a country where narcotics wreak havoc within communities and one where people live in fear of the underworld. No one is willing to visit a nation like this. An NPP government will work towards restoring the country's reputation and image once again. We will rebrand Sri Lanka. All the required measures are in place for it.
Now, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that neither Sajith Premadasa nor Anura Kumara will get the necessary approval from the International Monetary Fund to take the reforms agenda forward. Addressing a rally today, the president further said that Sri Lanka was able to achieve financial stability within 2 years, while other countries took over 5 years to recover, and said that the next 5 years is needed to establish lasting stability for the nation.
Another rally supporting independent candidate Ranil Wickremesinghe was held in Badulla today.
අපි කියන්න ඕනේ දේශපාලනය කවදාවත් රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්තයා ගාව තිබුණේ නැහැ. සජිත් විපක්ෂ නායකයා
As the opposition leader, he could have rallied all the opposition MPs to his side. For the first time, however, there are 3 main candidates in this race. This is entirely due to Sajith Premadasa's inability to lead. His previous decisions to step down has backfired and now he finds himself in the 3rd place. However, I must caution you not to trust the NPP as they have no experience in governing a country.
None of these candidates will receive approval from the IMF to continue their policies. They are all misleading the public. I ask you this, should we place our trust in them? They were absent when they were needed the most. The IMF has set 3 conditions for the next government. The first is to protect the objectives of this program. Can either Anura or Sajith fulfill this? The second is to achieve the set targets. Can they do that? No, that task falls to us. The third condition is to continue with the necessary reforms. We must carry those reforms forward. Neither of those 2 can do that. I am asking for your mandate to perpetuate the current stability. This is about your future, not mine.
Another rally in support of President Wickremesinghe was organized in Kantale today.
Many countries took 5 to 8 years to overcome similar challenges. Greece took 10 years. We have not taken that long. We pushed through despite difficulties. I acknowledge that times are tough. I want to reduce this burden. Let us move forward together.
presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Namal Rajapaksa, asserts an SLPP-led government will transform Sri Lanka to become Asia's most developed nation by 2035. Addressing a gathering, the SLPP's presidential candidate went on to say that the SLPP's policies will benefit both today's youth as well as the generations to come.
A rally pledging support to presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Namal Rajapaksa, was held in Kurunegala yesterday.
Those who said taxes must be increased to increase salaries of government workers now claim through their manifestos that they will increase salaries. All of these candidates reveal policies that contradict each other over the past few months. I cannot understand if they are trying to deceive the public or themselves. We tell you what we can do and what we can't do. This is what Mahinda Rajapaksa taught us. We do not fear challenges. We must implement modernization. Modernization includes technological integration. Our policy decision will benefit today's youth as well as generations to come.
Meanwhile, another rally in support of presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Namal Rajapaksa, was held in Anamadu this afternoon.
We appreciate our local identity and culture. We believe Sri Lanka can be transformed to Asia's most developed nation by 2035. We must strengthen entrepreneurs to generate more jobs. We will provide financial assistance to entrepreneurs through rural and cooperative banking systems. We will also establish factories in every electorate with the assistance of local and foreign investors. We will transform Sri Lanka to the fastest developing nation in Asia.
Sarva Janabali's presidential candidate Dilith Jayaweera warned the public to not be ensnared in the trap of proposed welfare programs which do not offer a path out of poverty. Jayaweera emphasized that in contrast to the programs promised by other presidential candidates, the Hite Haya program proposed by his alliance will provide a sustainable path for impoverished Sri Lankans to emerge from poverty by ensuring a minimum income of 100,000 rupees for each household.
A rally in support of the Sarva Janabalaya candidate Dilith Jayaweera was held in Tangol today.
Sajith Premadasa ogena hotel inne hondama kandayama haddeyene oy kandayame gotabe vinasa karapu Ranil vinasa karapu kadawuru dekama dan Sajith ge ostarla vela
mama vishwavidyala shishwekka inna kale mama dakke Mahinda Rajapaksa virodara paurushayakin yukta pudgalek.
When I was a university student, I viewed former President Mahinda Rajapaksa as a person with great charisma. I approached him and offered to support his campaign creatively and efficiently at no cost to him. In 2005, we successfully secured his victory. During the civil war, we supported him through the Api Venu and Api campaign for the forces. However, in 2009, when his family seemed to lead him astray, I advised him about the growing corruption allegations. I expressed that we did not want to see his reputation tarnished as he had been a hero to us. There were rumours within the Colombo business community suggesting that commissions were being extorted from businesses. In the end, we were also implicated in the corruption allegations levelled against the corrupt Rajapaksas. Mahinda's family must realise that he is a national leader and not just their father.
Another rally in support of the Sarva Janabalaya's presidential candidate Dilith Jayaweera was held in Monaragala today.
අපේ දරුවන්ට නිවැරදි අධ්‍යාපනයක් ලබන්නට නොහැකි නම් ඉස්පිරිතාලයකට විශ්වාසයෙන් යන්න බෑ. එදා ස්ට්‍රයික් එකක් තියෙනවද නැද්ද දන්නේ නැහැ. දොස්තරවරු ඉන්නවද දන්නේ නැහැ. ඇත්තටම මේ 21 වන සියවසද කියලා හිතෙනවා. මේ වෙනස් කළ යුතුමයි. මේ වෙනස් කරන්න ඇත්තටම හොඳ සංකල්ප තියෙන වෙනස් ලෙස හිතන්න පුළුවන් කණ්ඩායමක්.
හැමදාම ඔබ රවට්ටගෙන හිටපු සහනාධාර අටමගලය.
We are once again confronted with welfare schemes. The first was late President Premadasa's Janasavya, followed by Samurdhi and now Asfa Pasuma. However, your eyes are open now. We have proposed the Hite Haya program, which aims to ensure a minimum household income of 100,000 rupees. We have provided detailed plans and timelines for achieving this goal.
දැන් රුපියල් 280ට සිග්නල් ග්‍රෑම් 160ක් ලංකාවේ වාසිම මෙලකට තියෙන පැක් එකක්.
With presidential elections just around the corner, let's take a look at views expressed in the political arena today.
පහුගිය කාලේ පුරාම කෝ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහගේ වොක්සෝගන් එක කියලා ඇහුවා. කෝ අකිලගේ වොක්සෝගන් එක කියලා ඇහුවා. මෙන්න ආසියාවේ තියෙන දැවැන්තම වාහන එකලස් කිරීමේ කර්මාන්තශාලාව හෙට හවස විවෘත කිරීමට නියමිතව තිබෙනවා. ලංකාව මේ ගෙනියන වැඩපිළිවෙල මේ මාර්ගය අර වෙන මාර්ගයක් නැහැ. මේ ආර්ථික ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳන්න පුළුවන් එකම නායකයා රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා.
අපි අවතක්සේරු කරන්න ඕනේ. නමුත් රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහගේ කාලේ ඉවරයි. ඡන්දේ නාස්ති කරන්න එපා. සජිත්ට ඡන්ද දුන්නොත් අපිට පුළුවන් මේ රට ගොඩ වැඩ පිළිවෙල ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න. තලත අතුකොරල කාන්තා බලවේගයේ සභාපතිතුමී එතුමිය යන්න ගියා සජිත් සලුන් දොර ඇරලා හොරු ගන්නවා පක්ෂෙට අපිට දැන් පක්ෂේ ඉන්න බෑ කියලා. මං සජිත්ට කිව්වා ඔබතුමා රණසිංහ ප්‍රේමදාස කියන පම්පෝරි ගහන එකත් නවත්තන්න කියලා. මං ඇස් ලොකු කරගෙන බලාගෙන හිටියා. ඒකන්ද සජිත් තාත්තා ගැන කීයේ රටවට යන්නේවා අපි අනුමත කරන්නේ නැහැ.
කලබල වුණාට වැඩක් නැහැ මහත්තුරුනි. පෙරහැර ගිහිල්ලා ඉවරයි. දැන් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම තැපල් ඡන්ද වැටලා තියෙන්නේ. තැපල් ඡන්ද ටික ගන්නකොට නිකන් කලාවැවේ සොරුව කඩපු වගේ මාලිමාවේ පෙට්ටි පිරিলা තියෙනවා. ඒ විතරක් නෙමෙයි ඡන්ද දෙන ජනතාව ඡන්ද ගමින් ගමට හදාගෙන යනවා. පොදු මහජන ව්‍යාපාරය තමන්ගේ අතට ඡන්ද බලය ගත්ත වෙලාවක් මේක.
පහුගිය සති දෙක තුන තුල ජනාධිපතිතුමාට තිබෙන සම්පූර්ණ සහයෝගය වැඩි වෙමින් පවතිනවා. නිහඬව හිටපු ඡන්දදායකයෝ අද හිමීට එළියට එන්න පටන් ගන්න තියෙනවා. සියලු දෙනාම කියන දෙයක් තමයි මේ වෙලාවේදී අවදානමක් ගන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. අවුරුදු දෙකමාරක් තුල හොඳ ප්‍රගතියක් ලැබිලා තියෙනවා. දැඩි විශ්වාසයකින් පවතිනවා ජනතාව නිවැරදි අවස්ථාවේදී වඩා වැදගත් දේ තෝරා ගැනීම සඳහා ඡන්දය දෙනවයි කියන්නේ.
For more local news and business news, join us on the other side of this short commercial break. Stay with us.
Star dishwasher Rally Hell Indul Pahasuwen Sede. Star dishwasher magic tub එක.
Crunchy goodness for hunger on the go.
චන්දරුසුමේ කාගෙන් මන අපේ සිග TV සඳහා සුපිරි ඩීල්.
Welcome back. Now, Minister of Foreign Affairs, President's Council Ali Sabri emphasized that Sri Lankan embassy in Tel Aviv is Sri Lanka's only diplomatic mission in the state of Israel and added that claims of other consulates being established are unfounded and should be disregarded. The foreign minister made this assertion in response to the recent disclosure on Sri Lankan diplomatic presence in Israel. He also urged the public to only rely on official sources for information with regard to Sri Lanka's diplomatic relations with Israel.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri, in a post on the X platform, responded to the recent discourse on Sri Lanka's diplomatic presence in Israel. The minister clarified that Sri Lanka continues to maintain its official embassy in Tel Aviv, which has been the sole diplomatic mission in Israel since 2000. The embassy remains fully operational, serving as the primary diplomatic channel between the two countries. Additionally, Sri Lanka has appointed an honorary consul in the Haifa region to extend consular support to Sri Lankans living and working in the area. The minister noted that the consul was appointed prior to the Hamas attack on southern Israel on the 7th of October 2023 and that it was made with adherence to standard international practices. He added that Sri Lanka has not established any new consulates nor made additional honorary consul appointments in Israel, emphasizing that any claims suggesting otherwise are inaccurate and do not reflect the official position or actions of the Sri Lankan government. Foreign Minister Sabri also noted that it is customary for honorary consuls to relocate their offices within their jurisdiction based on personal or business considerations and that these relocations are purely administrative and should not be misinterpreted as the establishment of new consul offices. The minister urged the public to rely on verified and official sources for accurate information regarding Sri Lanka's diplomatic activities in Israel and to avoid being influenced by unfounded or incomplete reports.
Now in other news, the Tamil Nadu government has sanctioned 300 million Indian rupees for building new houses for the Sri Lankan Tamil refugees in Kottapattu on the Tiruchipudukkotai highway. About 107 rehabilitation camps are available for the Sri Lankan Tamils in Tamil Nadu state, which came into existence about 37 years ago. The rehabilitation camps at Kottapattu in Tiruchi district and Mandapam in Ramanathapuram district are among the biggest refugee camps in the state. The camp at Kottapattu has 470 houses and about 1,200 Sri Lankan refugees have been sheltered there. Based on the field reports of the condition of the camps and the demands of inmates, the Commissionerate of Rehabilitation and Welfare of Non-Resident Tamils has decided to build new houses at Kottapattu. The houses would be constructed close to the existing camp at Kottapattu. Once a site was identified, the construction work would begin. Officials stated that inmates of the camp would not be disturbed and they will be relocated after the allocation of new houses. With that, here's a look at more local news across the island in brief.
A 31-year-old person was shot and killed in Badovita, Mount Lavinia. Police stated that two unidentified individuals who arrived on a motorcycle carried out the shooting last night and fled the scene. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Rehabilitation commenced the construction of a rehabilitation centre for women addicted to dangerous drugs. The facility located in Vaunia has the capacity to rehabilitate up to 100 women. The Commissioner General of Rehabilitations has informed the Ministry of Justice, Prison Affairs and Constitutional Reforms of the Rehabilitation Centre, and the Judicial Service Commission has informed all judges to refer women drug addicts in need of rehabilitation to the new facility. In other local news, 14 individuals were arrested at a party in Kadawatha yesterday who were under the influence of illicit narcotics. The arrests were made during a joint operation conducted by the excise officers of Jayala, Negombo and Gampaha.
Despite the temporary debt moratorium on selected external commercial and official bilateral debt, the Ministry of Finance claims that the country has repaid over $5 billion to its multilateral creditors. That amount represents approximately half of the usual annual debt service payments Sri Lanka made before the announcement of the debt standstill in April 2022.
Since April 2022, Sri Lanka halted payments on selected external debt, but this did not immediately resolve the crisis by May 2022. According to the ministry, the worst shortages of foreign exchange occurred between May and August 2022. The crisis worsened until the country was able to demonstrate a clear and credible reform path signalled by the staff-level agreement with the International Monetary Fund in September 2022. The ministry noted a prevailing perception that the current economic stabilisation in Sri Lanka is solely due to the non-servicing of external debt and that economic instability will return once debt servicing resumes. The Finance Ministry clarified that it is incorrect to state that all foreign debt is not being repaid. The temporary moratorium announced in April 2022 applied only to selected external commercial debt and official bilateral debt. The statement further highlighted that the government continued to service multilateral debt as required under the prevailing sovereign debt restructuring framework. The ministry reported that considering the impact of debt servicing on the balance of payments, Sri Lanka made debt servicing payments of $2.483 billion in 2022 and $2.589 billion in 2023. The ministry also noted that reforms implemented thus far have increased government revenue from 8.3% of GDP in 2022 to 11% of GDP in 2023, with progress expected to continue in 2024. Additionally, foreign exchange reserves have risen to $6 billion by September this year, up from near zero levels in April 2022.
And now here's a look at our corporate news segment for the evening.
A special delegation from Port City, Sri Lanka visited key real estate companies in Doha, the capital of Qatar, in a bid to promote real estate investment opportunities in Sri Lanka's Colombo Port City project. The delegation, led by General Manager of Investment Promotion and Marketing Tian Zheng and Senior Manager of Investment Promotion and Marketing Asiri Peremunagegama, was facilitated by the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Doha in collaboration with the Qatar Sri Lanka Business Council. In the meantime, Chairman of Raigam Waimba Sultans PLC T. Dharmaraja stated that despite the economic downturn, the net assets per share of the company increased to 7.4 rupees year-on-year. The company chairman further revealed that the company looked into further opportunities to establish another sultan in the lower part of eastern Sri Lanka to broad base its production points across the coast. In other corporate news, CT Development PLC announced the acquisition of 34,397 ordinary shares at 26 rupees each by DRT Senthilvel, a non-executive director of the company. The company disclosure added that the relevant transaction occurred on the 12th of this month and was notified to the board of directors on the 13th of this month.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Adaderana First at 9. Stay in touch with us on www.adaderana.lk for the latest developments around the clock. Thank you. Have a great night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit adaderana.lk.